And we're back, and as promised, we have two new guests for you. We have Lori Ireland, who was the founder of Exceptional Ventures, and Paige Morrow-Falk, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Extraordinary, not Exceptional, Extraordinary Ventures, excuse me. We've talked about this nonprofit in the past. It's a pioneering nonprofit based in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and they operate a portfolio of self-sustaining small businesses with the mission to create employment opportunities for adults with autism and other developmental disabilities. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us.
It's a thrill to have you guys with us. And Lori, you've been on the show in many different ways. For a lot of time we were doing a show here, a sister show called The Future is Bright with Autism Society of America, and it's a thrill to have you back on just the regular show. This is such an important thing for everyone to know about Extraordinary Ventures. Give us a little background about how did this come into being?
Okay, I'll start out, but I'm going to let Paige do most of the talking because she's more interesting. No,
that can't be.
We just got together a group of parents and educators, etc., over 11, 12 years ago, and our kids were all aging out of the system, and there were not any opportunities for them in terms of working. And in our particular state, we do not have widespread sheltered workshops or day programs. So basically, you are going to turn 22 and have nothing. So we decided we wanted to get something going where our people could fit in and be employed, and it had to be self-sustaining because we don't accept any government funding, no federal dollars, no state dollars. To not be disingenuous, many of our people bring their job coach with them that is funded through the waiver program, but that's their waiver program. We receive none of that. We are not a medical facility, so we never ask anybody's diagnosis. Paige worked there, I could work there, you could work there, anybody can apply there. All the businesses are run for profit. All the employees are paid at least minimum wage. So this is very, very different than a sheltered workshop. People are paid at least minimum wage or better. This is real jobs. So if our people couldn't do them, somebody else in the community would do them. Everyone is as integrated as possible for them. And again, clock in, clock out, they show up on time. It's a real job. So run a portfolio of businesses. We are about 85% self-sustaining. The other 15% comes from annual funds. We hope to someday be 100% self-sustaining, but every time we get there, we open another business so we can employ more people. And we employ 60 individuals. And again, they might be neurotypical or they might not. But by word of mouth, I suppose many are not. Again, nothing like a placement. Nobody gets placed there by the government. We don't get subsidized by the government to take them there. We go out and bid for businesses. The business model is based on goods and services that require quality, necessarily efficiency. And for instance, in our laundry business, we have a big waiting list. And people don't even know when they sign up for it that many of the people have a developmental disability. They just know known to do the best laundry. Things like that. So it's real jobs, real people, and worked out really, really well. And then I'm going to let Paige talk now.
Well, I'm going to have you guys pause for just a second,
Yeah,
and then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about all the different businesses and how you and I can participate and support these businesses by being consumers. So hang on, we're going to be right back after these messages.
Back. Here we are. We were talking before the break with the founder of Extraordinary Ventures, Lori Ireland, and the CEO, Paige Morrow-Falk. And we want to learn a little bit more about the kind of business models, the businesses that you operate. So if you could tell us about that.
Sure. So we currently operate 6 small businesses at Extraordinary Ventures. And since our mission is to just maximize the amount of employment that we can create, 5 out of 6 of those businesses are in the service industry, and one of them is in the product industry. So we found that the businesses that are in the service industry, the majority of the expenses are allocated to labor, so in support of our mission. So the one product business that we have is called EV Gifts, and in that business we create a line of scented candles, soaps, lip balms, jewelry line. And so all of these are handmade by our employees, and then we sell them online and in retail stores, mostly across the East Coast and across North Carolina. The 5 service industries that we have are a pickup and delivery laundry business called EV Laundry that serves a combination, 3 different avenues. So we have students, residential and commercial. Our guys do anything from pickups and deliveries to running the machines, sorting, folding. But again, that's a business that majority of the costs are labor, so creating a lot of employment, but also bringing in good revenue. After that, we have our event center, and our guys do the setup and breakdown for events, so that's where the employment is created, and then general maintenance of the facility. We have a bus detailing business, and it's a partnership with the town of Chapel Hill, which is where we're located. And each of our employees on that crew has their task list, and we detail the interiors of the buses. Then we have an office solutions business. Now, the initial idea behind that business was to offer a wide variety of tasks to small businesses in the community. So I think one of the first things people think of is shredding and services of that sort. We found that it is really hard to, make any money and a profit off of the shredding industry because there's just such big competitors out there. And 2, it didn't create a ton of employment for us. So we focus more on bulk mail, and that has proven to create a lot of employment and build really transferable skills for our employees and bring in actually really great revenue. So you kind of get the best of both worlds there. So our guys are now mailing out more than 70,000 pieces of mail a month, and we have it structured so that it's not high pressure, time sensitive task. We train our employees to use the same mailing equipment that you're going to see in any office, and we break up and structure the tasks so that people across the spectrum can be successful in those tasks. The last business that we have is the newest one we launched, called EV Pets. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's a dog walking business, and our employees come, get all of their uniform and everything that they need, their supplies, at Extraordinary Ventures at the headquarters, and then go off-site to the houses and walk dogs, cat sit, and it'll probably kind of expand into additional services, kind of a concierge service of sorts.
And how do you measure success with these businesses?
Sure. So we have 2 conflicting goals that we're always balancing. You have the first goal, which is our core mission, which is to create employment. So to us, success is, providing as many hours of employment as we can for our employees, but not just hours to fill time, valuable hours. And what I mean by that is, in early stages of business especially, you hire staff, and one of the most difficult things to manage is when you have a staff, but the business is not flowing in. You don't have as many customers, and you're trying to come up with things for your employees to do. I call that filling time. And it's great to get a business off the ground and to train your employees, but then what you want is to staff appropriately for the needs of the business. And our employees can tell a difference. So in the early stages where we had for example, our laundry business, and we wanted to train the employees on and figure out the operations and kind of the flow of things, we would have kind of fake bags of laundry that I'd bring in and that we could practice on. Well, one of our managers that was running the business at the time caught a big break with marketing and sales, and it felt like overnight we brought in 75 customers. So all of us were down there folding laundry and trying to keep up with the workload, and our employees loved it. They said, we can tell this is real now. And, we weren't fooling anybody. So, hours of employment is big.
Let me just step in here. I come from a business background, and most employment in the United States is small businesses. It is great when big companies have programs for people on the spectrum, etc. But if you get real about it, most people in the United States work for small businesses, and that's what we are. When you look at a business model for a small business, normally what you'd be doing is solving for profit. We solve for hours of employment, and Paige has a job balancing those things.
Yeah. So when I talked about these two conflicting goals, like our number one goal is creating employment, but we're also trying to generate a profit and increase revenue. And to us, that's the key to sustainability. We can keep creating jobs, but those jobs are not going to last if the organization is not sustainable and profitable. And in other companies, they're trying to make the most revenue while creating or having the least amount of expenses, and a big one of those is labor. So how few employees can you use to produce the same product or service? For us, we're looking for those businesses that are going to generate the most employment, and we might not be quite as efficient in some areas as some of our competitors, but we're still looking to make a profit, and that profit margin might come from other places within the business. But at the end of the day, we want these jobs to be long-term and stand the test of time. And in order to do that, we can't depend on things like government funding that kind of comes and goes. And, while we really value, our annual fund supporters, our goal is to take the organization from being 85 to 90% sustainable off of our business revenues to 100%, because then we know the control is then in our hands.
Right.
A question we get asked a lot when we're speaking, again, in front of different groups like this, or say governmental groups and all that, is what is your success rate at placing people? And that means you don't get it. If that's the question, that means you don't get it, because these are actual jobs. Some people do move on and do other things. People are promoted within Extraordinary Ventures, but our goal is not, okay, at the end of 6 months, now this person is going to go work for IBM. Right. Ours is, we're going to have a business, this person has a job.
That's right. And amen to that. So when we're totally out of time, but here are the two questions I want to end on. If we want to be a consumer, because we want to support, because we recognize that this is important and we want to be a customer, where's the best place for us to go to get information about how to do that? Because if I want to buy a gift here on the East Coast, you're on the East Coast, we're on the West Coast, I want to buy a gift. People are buying teacher gifts and things like that. We should be buying them from you. Where's the website where we can do that?
So for our gifts business, which is the best way to support us across the country and world, the website is gifts.evnc.org, so www.gifts.evnc.org, or you can visit extraordinaryventures.org and follow links to each of our 6 businesses.
And is that the best?
And you can also try looking for our replication models. We do have several across the United States.
Well, that was my next question. How can everybody have one of these?
Right.
Well, you'd be surprised. No, you wouldn't be surprised, actually, at some of the hurdles you have to overcome.
Yeah.
And we all know in the world of autism, it's very difficult to go from that entitlement way of thinking, particularly for parents and guardians, to go from that entitlement to this is a real job.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody deserves, as we say here, everybody deserves a job
right to
and
work.
everything that comes with it, the pay and the self-respect and feeling like you've got a seat at the table.
No
which is
kidding.
which is an amazing thing. So
Well-
you do have replication models. If somebody, I know we've got some parents watching right now who are like, I want to have this in my neighborhood. Where, like, is there a way to franchise? What's that?
You can call Paige.
Okay.
We don't really franchise in the sense that we're not looking to make any money off anybody else's community. And each of our models is unique to their community. Some are called Extraordinary Ventures, some are not.
Okay.
But you can call Paige, come and visit in Chapel Hill, and just do it.
All right.
Okay, great.
I
Great
love
work you're
this,
doing.
and I love you. This is an amazing thing. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
ladies.
much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And have for years, but always.
What a great
like
model.
my face hurts
Yeah.
talking to them because it just I love this great model.
Okay, we've got to take a quick break and come
'Cause we-
back with our next guest,
Yes, so excited to talk with her. She's going to be live with us in the studio.
Susan Berkowitz.
Yes, and she's a speech and language pathologist
Yes,
and talking
she's gonna talk
in
about
particular about our kids who are
AAC.
nonverbal.
Right.
So how much do we love that? We'll be right back after these messages.